Let's wait 1 or 2 minutes so other can join. Please. હા થઈ ગઈ જર્નલ અને તમે ત્યાં ડેસ્ક ઉપર થઈ only just I have taken 1 or 2 with me which something is left. They haven't shown their record book directly. They have submitted their journals, so I haven't checked. I thought that they may be here, so I can just check their record books and I can pass. હા જેને સર્ટિફિકેટ ત્યાં જ મૂકી જાય. હા યસ અને સર્ટિફિકેટ છે ને ત્યાં મારો ડેસ્ક છે ને ત્યાં જ વ્યવસ્થિત મૂકજો અને નહીં હા વિથ જર્નલ મૂકજો. જર્નલની સાથે જ મૂકજો. જર્નલ ચેક હશે તો જ હું સર્ટિફિકેટ એક્સેપ્ટ કરીશ. ઘણા શું કરે છે એક જણાનું ખાલી સર્ટિફિકેટ જ આવ્યું ડાયરેક્ટ, જર્નલ નથી આવી નથી રેકોર્ડ બુક આવી. વેરી સ્માર્ટ. એનો મતલબ એમ કે આઈ વિલ ટેક ધીસ ગ્રાન્ટેડ. એટલે સ્ટેપ બાય સ્ટેપ પ્રોસેસમાં બધા હલવાઈ બહુ જાય મારી આગળ તકલીફ એ પડે. એટલે જર્નલમાં સર્ટિફિકેટ મૂકી જાજો. સર્ટિફિકેટ હું કલેક્ટ કરી લઈશ. પછી છે જેવો હું ફ્રી આવીશ મારું કામ ચાલુ જ હોય. મારું એકેય વર્ક પેન્ડિંગ નહીં હોય. અત્યારે કે પછી જ્યારના લેક્ચરમાં આવો ત્યારે મૂકી દેજો. 2-3 લેક્ચર હશે મારે અલગ અલગ ટાઈમે, હું મારી રીતના ચેક કરીને પાછું આપી દઈશ. કાલથી મિડ સેમ ચાલુ થાય છે. Okay, so during that time class hours lectures હશે કે નહીં? Not sure, maybe. એ નહીં પછી 10:30 પછી. આપણે તો પ્રેક્ટિકલ સેશન ને એવું છે. No issue. Good morning to all. Let's have some topic to be get discussed. Those who are in online and offline mode, let's have some discussion further ahead. So till now we have discussing about the physical factor, right? pH, temperature and others. Now we are looking for the chemical factors. So here it may be, we are looking for, here it is like oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur. They are the basic elements. Already we have discussed few points during our unit 1, right? That was related to macro and micronutrients we are talking. That each having like based on the carbon, we have start to describe them in a heterotroph or autotroph. So that was our basic part we have started. And other are, maybe it is based on the oxygen or the carbon, we may discuss them or going to consider as a when it is aerobes and anaerobes. So all the organisms do have their basic requirements. So we are looking for their chemical factors and all are belongs to, and several are there. That is like carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, and some other trace element part also. That some basic, why it is required for certain enzymatic actions, it is most essential to have the certain trace element. So what are the chemical requirements for the growth? In total, we are looking this carbon is the main sole source of the energy. Why it is going to be considered the source of energy? That it is became the partly or partially or the fully related to the energy governing molecules like carbohydrate or sugars are there and others are like NCOH. 4 basic molecules we can consider. They are participating into constitutions of the basic biomolecules. So here the carbon, it is having like it having the valency as a 4. So it can bind with at least 4 other molecules. And when the bond is breakage is happened, energy is released. And it is been transferred. Here the so many enzymes are participating. So first it is been transferred like a molecule we are looking is the ATP. Right. So it is like a governing cells currency. So there it is going to get developed. Some people may have the one questions by chance, like why ATP is taken mostly as the currency. Can anyone say? Not any GTP or the others. CTP, UTP, ATP has been taken. Yeah, it is one may consider as a evolutionary. That is true. Because all are one or another way. They are maybe interconverted from one to another, like A, T, G, C, and the U also. So they are either of the way. There is a purine and pyrimidine is there. So it is been taken from the initial part. There is a mother nature is doing such experimental part over the time. ATP is being selected as one of the currency. So we are not looking to much discuss about it. Just for some basic example, I was looking for. Then it is like a chemo. In a chemo, the chemicals are being specialized, like a use of such carbon source. The humus fungi are being there on the autotrophs. So chemotrophs and autotrophs use CO2 as a carbon source. That is a plant, or we can consider even the algae or cyanobacteria. And the nitrogen, what is the sole part of its utilization? That is related to amino acid and protein. Even the nucleic acid. Here it is general basic part is written, right? So it is amino acid and protein. Sulfur, it's the parts you can say also been there in a protein. The disulfide bond linkage and others have happened with the sulfur. Then phosphorus, one of the important component we can say for the nucleic acid and the energy governing molecules like ATP. So it is all and all nucleoside to nucleotide are there. Then the trace elements required for in small amount like iron or hemoglobin. And if you are looking for into one, yes, anybody knows that a similar compound or the similar to the hemoglobin, something is available into plant. Chlorophyll, yes. Over the chlorophyll, there is a one just elemental change is there. Which one? Magnesium. Yes, very good. So here the iron is there, there is a magnesium. So if we are thinking in a way that there is a cyanobacteria, the plant, or you can say the autotrophic mechanism were started. From there itself, the molecule selections were happened, like ATP governing, as well as like chlorophylls and others are there. So Mother Nature has done some selection, has moved into the animalia. It has been taken as a one important component as the iron were selected. Here it was a magnesium. So if we got any change availability in either in a plant or in animals, then we can have some revolutionary transformation. It is not easier task, but just as a hypothetical points, if you are looking that if you are able to substitute one to another way, then it can have so many changes. Then the organic factors like vitamins, amino acid, purine, pyrimidine are all part of it. So here we are going to look the same earlier we had talked that is related to chemo and autotrophs were there. And what are some basics there? Sources. What are the sources of our carbon? We are looking first for a microorganism right now. Okay, so basic part are there. We are looking like yeast extract, beef extract, and other are there. So naturally, if you are looking, that is a molasses. Okay, molasses, malted barley, starch, dextrin, sulfide waste liquor, alkane alcohol, and alkanes, oils, and fats. So all are we may consider as a source of carbon. Maybe it is meant by that it is from the plant or animals, or any maybe it is from the other fungal or part are there. It can be a source of the carbon for our microbes in general. So they may depend on one to another. And factor influencing the carbon source, the cost of the product, rate at which is metabolized, geographical location, government regulation, cellular yield coefficients, other all. So we are not looking for the factors, we are looking for the energy source from where it is available. So it is maybe consider we are going to consider them as a chemoautotroph and chemoheterotroph. If it is concerned with the chemical, then we may go for the photoautotroph and photoheterotrophs. So such classifications already we have learned into our first unit, right? So this is They are, when you are looking the photo, they are able to develop their own by itself. Okay, and other may require others. Depend on, as a for the carbon's energy, we are looking that inorganic and organic. You may classify from that beginning. This organic carbon is coming, they are became the heterotrophs. Okay, then autotrophs and heterotrophs. So there is a basic slight, when you're starting to write, minor variations are start to come. So one has to be much careful about it in writing and saying about. Then what are the other sources related to other? There is classifications. That is photoautotrophs and the photoheterotrophs. Just what I'm telling to you people, right? So green non-sulfur and pulper non-sulfur bacteria, they are photoheterotrophs. So they are using the electronic energy excitations and development using the sun, but they are also depend on the others for their process, right? Like other are the chemoautotrophs, so they can utilize. So here the mechanism is what related to electron donor and acceptor. So even they are chemic photo, you can say the chemoautotrophs are there. The hydrogen, sulfur, nitrifying bacteria are participating into it, which can be are as a chemoautotrophs. That means their electron transport mechanism is available for them, and they can use it. They are not using basically directly the light as for the excitation of an electron. So after this, we are having one of the unit that is photosynthesis related to. And then after we are going to learn, so photoautotrophs will be considered related to bacterial photosynthesis. And then we are going to directly jump related to chemoautotrophs. That is what we have left into unit 1. Right. In unit 1, we have left certain points that how the mechanism of the electron transport is there into it. So here exogenic and non-exogenic, aoxygenic, that part we have learned into photoautotrophs. So photosynthesis, basic certain points we have discussed in detail somewhat, we are going to learn into our unit number 4. And photoheterotrophs and the chemoheterotrophs, they all are depend on the others. Okay, they may directly not able to utilize. So it is maybe a fermentations also you may consider in a way that. So what are the factors that influence choice of our carbon source? When we are looking for a choice in a way that what is our targeted product into it? If you are looking for the alcohol fermentations, then we may go for the directly the anoxygenic process. There is aerobic and anaerobic. Accordingly, we may select our carbon source. So we may know that we want to grow our E. coli or specific kind of a bacteria or any microbes is there. So we are going to give as particularly a different kind of a carbon source. So always one we should know. It is like that. Earlier also I'm telling related to cooking, right? That what are our guests? If it is child, we are going to have the menu settled accordingly. If it is the youngsters are there, we may have our menu in a way that, or very old age persons are going to come, we may set our menu accordingly, because the youngsters may like to have like a fast food, a pizza and other things, or sandwich. If the old age guys are coming, they may not like, they may are looking for the rice and other parts. And if it is a very child is there, if you're going to give the sandwich, they are not having the even teeth. Okay, how they are going to chew their even the pizzas or the sandwich? They cannot. So accordingly, we need to go for it. So we are going to like cornflakes, mix in the milk and give to them. So accordingly, we need to. So what is our target that we have to understand? If you are looking for the certain thing, accordingly, our carbon source may change. It is like a molasses, very well known. How we get the molasses? Anybody knows? Have you heard? Yes, yes. So it is like a part and partial, like waste from the sugar cane. So there is a minor still. If you are going to push again and again from one, maybe you have seen the sugar cane. Have you this sugar cane juice? Okay. So what the people are doing, they are having the one machine. They are again and again pushing that that stock is there. Then after they're going to get the juice out of it. But still, there may be certain amount of sugar is there. So what people are doing to do? They are going to soak into the water. So from it, it's going to transfer into our, you can say the water, it will be there. And it is going to then filter it out. It is being considered as a molasses. So it is nothing but the remaining component. It may be there. That some of the component is yet available into that waste. And other also, we can create the molasses from the various other, like from the corn itself. Okay, corn, or we may go for the maize. After taking the maize also, their stocks are yet fully rich into the carbon source. So sometimes it is boiled in a water, or it may be kept for a certain time period into the water, or any other solutions are there. So each things, like any leaves or any sort of things, are rich into certain amount of the carbon is there. So it is going to release into it. So we may take as a molasses. It is going to be a very easy way to get the nutritive product. Okay. And yes, accordingly, we may plan. Then the next part is coming as a nitrogen. What is the basic component in our cellular societies is, you can say the nitrogen is coming when it's related to proteins or amino acid. And third one is our nucleic acid, RNA and DNA are having the nitrogenous base. So it is became part and partial, like carbon is minimum requirement, nitrogen is also going to be a minimum requirement. If no nitrogen availability is there, bacteria cannot grow. It is like that some basic component is required into our daily diet. It is like that before, just 2.5 years before, one girl about, you can say the 6.5 year old from the New Delhi, she got died. The reason was saying she was very much fond of and used to take only Maggie. From her childhood, she like only Maggie, nothing she was taking. Whatever it is been given into milk and others, she never taken up. She was used to take the Maggie only, and at the age of 6.5 only, she got died because of non-nutrition availability for others. Organ systems were start to get deteriorated and failures. No further development. And she was been there after a continuous about 15 days into the nutritive products, and in the hospitals they have tried to save her, but it cannot be happen. So as our human being or any animals or even the microbes may require certain basic elements. We may say that in Maggie, it may be written as a source of carbon. Maybe it is going to get some another energy component. But the basic trace element is also a minimal requirement for us. If it is not there, persons may going to get died. Yes, here in our bacterial populations, when you are looking at nitrogen, some are the nitrifying, denitrifying bacteria are there. So they can easily able to take in an ammonianic form or in a nitrous form of a ammonia or a nitrogen. It is like a NO2, NO3. Okay, actually it's a nitrogen. Okay, now it is going to get reduced or oxidized. NH4 is coming or the ammonia is coming, it is having the coupling with the hydrogen. If it is with the oxygen, then also. So both the forms of a nitrogen can be utilized by the microbes. There is very particular type of a bacterial populations are there, they can utilize it. And it can be a sole source of electron transport and acceptance. Okay, so that we are going to learn into first unit. Again, that part is just left into the unit number 1. So what are the factors that may influence the choice of a nitrogen source? That availability of a nitrogen sources, it is always. So when you're looking to give this nitrogen to our bacteria, so our basic thing is what? That how we are going to get certain things. So it is the proteinaceous part are coming. So we may go for the like a peptone. Okay, peptone can be available from our bacterial population itself, or the yeast, or we may go of the plant or animal based also. So protein is going to get generated by one of the organism can be taken for the another. But sometimes here it may be written like a government legislations and others that some of the countries are may not allow every sort of the you can say the utilizations. Maybe it is allowed up to animal. They does not allow the human related protein to be taken for their practical or research work. Some countries may have their ethical issues into it. Some countries may not allow even you can say the beef also. They are not looking that a cow beef is there. They will not allow pigs related beef is there. They are not going to utilize it because it is concerned with some religious part. So some country having their ban, but majoritarily if you are taking the yeast extract is there, there is a no problem because this is taken even it's from the plant, there is a no issue. It is omni taken. Okay, but when it's considered related to certain animals or human, lots and lots of issues are start to come up. So there is some legislation into it, where and when and how much amount, what sort of the things may taken. Yeah, you may say like the blood agar is there. It is the whole soul component. Okay, it is not purified from. Sometimes we may say the blood agar is taken, why it is allowed. Another is this not allowed. But here it is like a totally from the particular targeted work is there and it is sole component is taken. Here you are going to slaughter certain kind of special animal and then you are going to use it. So it is a problem. So there are the several issues are there throughout the world. It is not common. Okay. And cost of the nitrogens and others are based on that. If it is the plant related products, that may become very easy to get, right? Because availability of plant are there. So what could be the nitrogen sources? One is the yeast extract, peptone, soybean meal, corn strip liquor, and the organic nitrogen, including amino acid protein or the urea, chemically synthesized. You may go for the chemically synthesized even like a fertilizer, right? Urea is very well known, been used as a fertilizer for the plant. Same you may use into it. So it is like directly given the amino acid or the protein is there. Otherwise, you may go with yeast extract, corn strip liquor, peptone, or soybean. Very well known is soybean. People are using the soybean because it's cheap source of a, you can say the nitrogen source, worldwide accepted. Corn and soybean is worldwide accepted. Like yes, nobody is going to have any issues, and it's very easy to manage even. If it is like that from the animal is there is a chances of getting a contamination into it. Other kind of a bacteria or the fungi may grow into it. If you are going to keep the beef extract and if start to get the also a very bad smell out of it, because it may reach into other source of elements. So people were start to look mainly related to soybean or other as a corn milk or yeast extract as their part. Okay, so basically in a world, if you are looking into outer world, if we are, so there is a two way to get the carbon. There is the inorganic carbon, inorganic nitrogen and organic form. Okay, so what are there? Like ammonia, ammonium salt, or nitrates are the form of inorganic. While looking for the organic, there is amino acid, protein, and urea. So both can be utilized. Both can be given to our organism. So what is our basic requirements? It may be all cannot take the inorganic. We cannot even. We only able to take the organic. If you are taking, we are fully dependent, heterotrophs. We require the organic kind of a nitrogen only. Then only we can utilize. Like when we inhale, how much amount of nitrogen is there in our environment? 70? Yes, 71. So when we inhale and exhale, it is continuously we are taking the nitrogen. We are looking that we are taking the oxygen, right? How much amount is oxygen? 21. Okay. So how much total? 71 plus 21? 78% nitrogen. Okay, 78 and 21. Okay. So around we can say 20% and 80%. So almost, right? Uh-huh. Yes, it is going to bound to happen. That is the problem. It's not going to bind anywhere. It is get exhaled because we cannot utilize. If it was the system Mother Nature has accepted, we never been like this. Total transformations may have changed. We are dependent upon the nitrifying to denitrifying and all the nitrogen cycle. Maybe you have learned about nitrogen cycle in previous somewhere, right? So it is required during the lightning or by the nitrifying bacteria. It is going to convert it into organic form. Then it is transformed into the trophic level to the plant and other is going on. Then the depending upon the heterotrophs and the food chain and food web, they are going to get utilized. So continuously we inhale the nitrogen and exhale out. It is bound to happen. So just think about 0.03% is carbon. How little amount of that carbon can disturb us? It is very, very low in amount. It has the drastic change in throughout world. We are saying as a global warming, right? So carbon is having the soul energy. It is like those who are like you are maybe a 20 or 80 students are there. Maybe one person is only 1 or 2%. It having the powerful effect on entire. So that can affect. Same like this they are. Right. They having the very powerful capacity to do many sort of the things. And they can affect entire class or faculty or the university. Same like this. Though carbon is in very minute amount, but having the highest capacity to disturb the entire nation to global to world. Right. So it is the reality. Okay, next component is coming is a sulfur. Okay, next component is coming as a sulfur. So sulfur is going to be a part of what? Amino acid or protein. So it is not required in that much amount, but having the highest capacity to develop our things because so many amino acid, they are essential amino acid are part and partial of our protein component. There are the two kind of proteins we may consider in broad, that is structural and functional. Okay, so what are the structural? They are part and partial of the either membrane, plasma membrane, or the cell membrane, we may say, or certain organelles. Okay, they are the structural, or they may be participate into developing certain vesicles or the vacuole formation, that protein. Functional protein, you may consider as a enzymes. Or in the certain places, we know the membrane, you already maybe have learned about the channels. So they are integral part of it. Their functional aspects are there to opening and closing and even into secondary messengers. They are participating into certain enzymatic reactions are taking place. When one component has came, there is a signaling cascade may start to give the signal till to the nucleic acid or the certain specific organelles to start their process. So structural and functional proteins are there, and over there, many of them are having this component as sulfur. So if at least this sulfur is not there, then the whole process get dumped and entire process may get disturbed. So it is a sulfate form. Okay, that is SO4 minus 2 or the hydrogen sulfide R2. Or you can consider an ionized form or in a form of you can say the alphalytic H2S. Okay, that is an hydrogen sulfide or sulfuric acid, where it is been known to come specifically in the volcanic eruptions are there. These are the very much species you can say the highly acidic consider places, acidophiles where they are growing. Over there only we are going to get highest amount of this kind of a sulfur. Okay, but otherwise also they are in ionized form or in a acidic forms are, or in a form of a, you can say the organic sulfate are present into the soil. That is why we may able to take it easily. From the soil itself, bacterial populations may develop. It may go in a food chain afterward. The sulfur cycle is going on in a way that, but highest amount of sulfur can or known to be available into volcanic sites. Next point is coming as a phosphorus. Okay, do other people are there in another class? No idea. Let's see. Next point is coming as a phosphorus. As we know, in beginning I also told that phosphorus part and parcel of what? There is a DNA and RNA, nucleic acid. If no nucleic acid is there, nothing is going to get sustained. Another is ATP as a one currency. Okay, so what is the beauty of it? ATP we are looking, right? Why it's going to be considered as a energy molecule? What it is doing actually? Can anyone say? Okay, so which one is having the highest bond energy? Like there, when you are looking like ATP, ADP, and AMP. AMP has less, or ATP has highest, high energy. ATP, ADP is released. So it is like thermodynamics, kilocalorie joule. How much kilocalorie joule when first, second, third bond break? Which having the highest capacity? Third means what? If I'm in like ATP, I'm writing. Okay, I have one broad. Fine, no problem. Like it is nearer to the adenosine. Okay, that is we have written as a alpha, beta, gamma. Okay, so A is starting here, then first, second, and third I'm telling, right? So if I'm going to break last, it will be the higher energetic, or then second, or those who are in the near to the nucleus. Which having the highest energy? Not here, that last. That is when it is going to broken for AMP. So it is like ADP, so ATP to ADP, then ADP to AMP. Which having the highest? ADP, so ATP to ADP or ADP to AMP? Huh? ATP to ADP, having higher energy compared to ADP to AMP. Oh, I think I'm not looking to like who is taking biochemistry, sir is taking. Right? So let me not to get confused or look upon it. Otherwise, you are going to ask him, and then you are going to tell me and others. Just for knowledge, you may just gather it. Okay, like it is there. When you are looking to, it is very easy to get breakdown at the last, right? But sometimes we know like when conversation is taking place, ADP to ATP, one PI we are telling as a phosphate in inorganic form is released. In certain conditions happen, direct change. ATP to AMP is taking place. Two PPI is called are released. Okay, so that having the higher, more weightage and kilocalorie joule is released. Okay, so phosphate is very important for our energy process. And when this energy is released, another component is ready to accept. Okay, here I'm one energy is releasing from my end. What is? I'm using my tongue. that vibration is taking place and is going in the air. It is perceived on your ears and it is processed. So during process also sodium potassium channel is there and your brain is analyzing and understanding. Right. So all the process are happening, energy is required at every step. And we are knowing people that highest amount of glucose consumption in our body is there by only our brain. It is continuously processed. It is like a soft work and hard work. Those who are doing the highest hard work maybe get after a 5 or 6 hour that they are lethargic. But those who have done the 6 work, soft work using their brain are became more lethargic than him. The reason is what? Higher amount of the nutritive products like a sugar is like we are looking as a glucose being taken up. So after a long time, you may get the headache or you are feeling that now it is not much possible for me to do processing. So like that only phosphate we are looking. So how we may that one of the component it is related to ATP, nucleic acid and RNA is going to happen. Okay. So many areas are there. From there, we may get this kind of a phosphorus are there, like mineralizations, assimilations, precipitation of phosphorus compound, microbial solution, insoluble form of phosphorus. It is like a mineralizations. How it is there? Already is there in a rocks. Minerals are there. Phosphorus is there in a rocks as well as in a soil. So they can be taken up. So who are the first taken up are by our, you can say, a microbial community or some plants, or you can say certain kind of a fungus are there. They directly able to work upon the take the minerals from their rocks itself. So it is called the assimilation. Starting of the phosphorus from the soil itself may start. Once it is came in the food chain, process is goes on. It is then the endless process is there. So we are not going to discuss about the phosphorus cycle itself, but just I'm giving some glimpse out of it. Okay, precipitation of phosphorus compound, microbial solubilizations, or even in the form of water itself, alga are going to take in. But is highest, but in certain limited amount of the phosphorus is allowed to be get taken up. We are going to higher amount of the phosphorus, then also it's going to become toxic. Even all, if you're going to give the highest amount of oxygen or the sulfur or any other specific is there, because every organism requires somewhat in their optimum condition. That means other elemental form is not available. Okay, if we are going to say that it may be required in 5 or 10%, and we are going to give in 95%. So other fulfillment will be not there. So it's going to be a toxic for them. So what is the importance of it? One is you can say that is in our body developmental parts. So many, all you can say, or metabolic process as the ATP is the one currency, you can say, are going to part and parcel governed by that on. Other than that, you can say the calcium give rigidity to bonds and others. Bond formations do require the phosphorus. Okay, and every biochemical reactions occur in muscles, blood, other soft tissue involve the phosphorus. Even like I want to talk with you continuously, I'm using my energy. Right. There also. Then protein synthesis, lead depositions in growing animals also. If no phosphorus available is there, then so many issues may start to happen. So it is not amount required in higher, but minimal amount of the requirement is there. If it is not, then the process may stop. Then the last few points are just left related to it. It is called the trace elements. So there is a long list is there. I think some of them you have written in unit 1, right? Regarding the trace element, cobalt, molybdenum, then the magnesium and the manganese and other are there. We may consider there amount in trace elements. Aluminium also is considered in a trace elements because CNOH are 4 we may consider into you can macro, and other are coming in a micro and the trace. It's also depend upon the organism. Some may require in higher, some may require in a lower amount. So one of the important points is related to intuits. So here we must consider like obligate aerobes, facultative anaerobes, obligate anaerobes, aerotolerant. So all may require explanation of oxygen is the effect. So sometimes the oxygen itself can be considered as a trace element, so does not required as their sole one element like anaerobes. Okay, this picturizations I think we have discussed into somewhere in unit number 2, if I'm not wrong. Okay, somewhere in unit number 2 we have discussed some of the points. Yeah, for your mid-sem also, you may be knowing that unit number 2 is the highest component, all, and like 3.1 or 3.2, if I'm not wrong, up to growth curve and some physical, that is how to measure, that is direct and indirect method of a growth measurement, right? Till that I have taken. So previously in your first part, some of the questions may have asked in from unit number 2, right? That time I think up to half unit was there. So half of the unit were not given that much attention over that time. So be prepared in a way that half of the units is going to have more importance into it. Okay. So itself, oxygen may be a major component, those who are in the oblique aerobes. Without that, they cannot. Facultative anaerobes, they can manage. Then the oblique anaerobes, strict. Okay, then aerotolerant anaerobes and the micro aerophiles. So all are, if it is a strictly anaerobe, for them, they does not require at all. So accordingly also, that's why I was telling that for some element is going to be considered as a micro or a macro or sometimes trace, or for some it is deadliest animal, deadliest elements, like those who are obligate anaerobe. For them, if you are going to give like specifically methanogens, one example. If methanogens are going to get sensitized with oxygen, they are immediately going to die. They're immediately going to die. Even in our conditions, if we are looking carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, certain amount is going to get into our body. Person is going to die. The reason is what? That our hemoglobin having the capacity like O2 and CO2 are transferred. Okay, so CO2 can be released from the hemoglobin. That is a normal process, O2, CO2 acceptance and release. But the CO is coming. It is going to bound once with our hemoglobin is not going to release. Once it is there, all our army men like RBCs are participating into oxygen transfer and CO2 transfer. It is going to get halt. That our heart is pumping continuously RBC to their respective place, lungs and others, and every tissue in the cell, but they are not going to perform their activity. And then after, without oxygen, breathlessness will start to fail and person may die. Okay, so CO is the major problem. Same like this, their enzymatic process are highly sensitive with oxygen. They are going to get die. Okay, next is the organic growth factors. Some enzymes or the like prosthetic group. Some are required, some with vitamins. Okay, or some growth factors have been required for their growth. But it is also in a little amount, not in higher. This is maybe you consider is related to trace element only. These organic growth factors are required in less amount because they are participating into certain specific kind of enzymatic reaction, not in all. Okay, this was our last slide. Yes. Okay, vitamins and some you can say particularly some specific kind of a group are there are considered as a prosthetic group for the enzymatic reaction. Okay, so I hope this point may be clear. If you have any questions, you can also ask. I have kept Once again, I'm putting those who are left to put their attendance, they can also put. Okay, today so many are there on online platform. Very nice. Absent in a class, but present in a online platform. Those who are either on online and offline, they may take their journals. Those who have submitted directly journals or certificates, I am not going to accept it because here you can see I have collected all. Then after I have put one sign. That is a journal. First is related to the record book. Then after record books also, when I have put the certain dots, round is done. That means record book is complete, right? Then the journals. After journals fully get certified, only I'm going to accept their certificate. So I have made a one dots. This is the right marks. If it is not there even, that means journal is not going to fully accept it. Those may fail yesterday to submit, they may submit within given time period. Okay. Otherwise, they may lose their marks if they are coming without journal. Already I have put into WhatsApp group 21st and 22nd, right? Our practical exams will be there. So from tomorrow onwards, if I'm not wrong, your midsem is going to get start, right? Then if you people are going to say that we were having the midsem or so and so or not able to get your certified journals, no problem. If you are going to go coming directly in exams, I'm going to put the marks accordingly for that journal component. Okay. So I'm ending here. Anybody having any questions, they can put in chat box. Or they can leave, no problem.